Please stay tuned.
Nigerian to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much. Please forgive me if I'm not too good when it comes to protocol, but I want to recognize and appreciate the members of the press here. No, I don't know how to call them, forgive me. Then, gentlemen of the press, I welcome you to this session. It's no longer news that the President of the nation, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, yesterday took the bull by the horn to do what was required of a statesman, a patriot, and head of state and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Events in Rivers State started a long time ago, and many times he tried to intervene. Apart from that, well-meaning Nigerians, leaders of thought, concerned citizens have also attempted to settle the matter without any result. The president came out boldly yesterday to say the situation cannot be allowed to continue, a situation in which the critical economic life of the nation, what is giving lifeline to the nation to be, criminally touched without any response from those who would ordinarily be expected to do so, cannot continue. But don't forget, the whole thing started on very pronounced findings, profound findings of breaches of the Constitution by the parties involved, particularly the governor of Rivers State, came to the conclusion that he was acting like a despot, and that as the situation is in Rivers State, there is no government. These are very serious and very weighty allegations that only an irresponsible head of state or leader will fold its arm to and ignore. Like I said, he took a very bold decision. We were all there when he made a public announcement, addressed the public, in which he chronicled all the facts from Genesis to Revelation. So I'm here. If there is any question to be asked on that, then I will be able to respond. But before then, don't forget that the judgment of the Supreme Court had been widely reported and published in the papers. So the president was not a party to it. So a question of trying to influence anything would not arise. And by virtue of certain provisions of the Constitution, everybody has a duty to ensure that judgment of the court is obeyed, particularly coming from the highest court in the land. There is no other person to appeal to. There is no other body to appeal to. It's not subject to any further test of validity. As things are, we all have a duty, collectively and individually, to ensure that we give maximum respect and obeisance to the judgment of the Supreme Court. So, gentlemen, I'm available for any question or clarification or observation. Thank you.
I believe by the time we take 5 questions, we should be able to do justice to all. So, who goes first? TVC 1, Blueprint 2, NAN 3, Channels 4, Arise 5. If we have not covered all your questions, then maybe we'll review it. Okay.
Senior Advocate, Attorney General of the Federation. My name is Femi Akonde from TVC News. Sir, my question is, did the situation in Rivers State warrant the declaration of a state of emergency? Because there are some people that would say the president's decision was hasty.
The president's decision was hasty?
Yes.
There's some people. Okay.
People have expressed divergent views about the declaration of the suspension of the governor, his deputy, and the members of the State House of Assembly. How legal would you say was the suspension? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Attorney General. My name is Salif Atojoko. I represent the news agency of...
More or less related, but let me start on the note of how we got to where we are today. How did it all start? That is about the genesis. We all know how we got here. Since 2023, I think towards the end of 2023, things have not been going on well, to the extent that the governor took the law into his hands and demolished, brought down the House of Assembly. Don't forget the role of the House of Assembly. They are the lawmakers. They are to consider budget. They are to, pass budget. They are also to be approached in matters of appointment of commissioners for ratification and all other things. They are to do oversight functions. So since that happened, things have not been the same at all. In a community of 32, you expect that at least 15 or 16 will be there to do the job. The governor, like I said, and it is no longer news, about 3 or 4 of the members constituted them to into the House of Assembly and gave them preferential treatment, moved them to the government house to be performing legislative functions. This situation got to the court. There were about 10, 15, 16 cases. And at the end of the day, the Supreme Court came out and made very profound findings of breaches of the Constitution, mainly against the governor. You see, you rise or fall on the basis of what you took to court and what the decision of the court is on it. The court came to the decision that the governor had long anticipated, wrongly, that he might be impeached. And because of that, he knew that the House of Assembly was a critical structure organ to do that. Brought down the House of Assembly. 14 months after, that is as at yesterday, it was 14 months, there was no effort to rebuild the House of Assembly. The government stands on a tripod: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. You have made the functioning of government impossible. It is not enough for the executive to say we are spending money. Even the money you want to spend must have been appropriated for by the House of Assembly. These are some of the findings that the Supreme Court made. And at the end of the day, the Supreme Court said or came to a decision that the behavior of the governor was like a despot, and that as situation was, there was no government in Rivers. If there was no government in Rivers, what else are we looking for? I'm so sorry for bringing in this issue. In the Bible, they asked Jesus Christ, "Are you the Son of God?" And he said yes. Then others chorused, "What further evidence do we need from this man?" So the stage is set, but no action was taken immediately in the expectation or hope that good sense will prevail, the governor will create an enabling environment, and that the House of Assembly too would be reasonable enough to ensure that the people of Rivers actually got a return for their voting of both members of the House of Assembly and the governor and other elected officials to enjoy dividends of democracy. We are in a democracy. So, then there were what I would call telegraphing of the militants, I would say by the governor. And the reason I said so was when he beckoned to them that, he would let them know when it was time to act, to the militants. Let us say it was wrong. Did he come out to disown them? The answer is no. And a week after they swung into action, you see or witness vandalization of oil pipelines. Don't also forget that before now, that is when this government came into office, Nigeria was producing about 900,000 liters of oil, barrel of oil a day. With the efforts and all the ingenuity that the president had, he ensured that the production rose to about 1.5 barrel per day. That's about 45 of something increase. Governors were smiling home at the end of the month. In today's Nigeria, maybe with the efforts of the Mr. President, a Greek will come in, but as of today, we still rely largely on oil. For anyone to touch these pipelines, it's not only the enemy of rivers, it's the enemy of Nigeria. All Nigerians, all the 36 states share in what comes in from the production of this oil. And I believe that the decision of Mr. President is anchored on the decision of the court, Supreme Court at that. The second one is the inability of those involved, both the House of Assembly and the governor, from being able to, create an enabling environment for the people of Rivers to enjoy the dividends of democracy. Then the third in the series is about the security situation in that place. If he had waited maybe a day longer, only God knows what would have followed. And as a result of that, he came out to say, I am not only the head of state, I'm commander-in-chief of the armed forces, declared a state of emergency. The first question is hasty decision. When should he, I will ask rather rhetorically, when do you think should have come? When everything has collapsed? No. The law envisages that you come in when there is present, imminent danger to the security of lives and property. People who are killing themselves. It's no longer news. It's not a question of making up the story. We all read papers every day. Those who live there are living in fears. So there is certainly the need to come in. We're about 2 years into the administration of in the state. If he didn't come in now, when do you think he should come in? Is it when everything has been destroyed? I don't think so. I think the president has acted timelessly. He has given opportunity to all the people involved, the parties involved, to make amends. Before then, he had assembled them. He had tried to mediate. Some said he had no constitutional power after agreeing. And what they agreed to at the meeting were not implemented. So, to answer your question, I don't think that the president, or let me say, it's not a question of I don't think. I am certain that the president has acted timelessly after giving them enough rope. And as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, it was a tough decision for him to make. It doesn't present anybody with joy to disrupt the flow of democracy or practice of it. But the Constitution itself envisages that there may be this type of situation, and that was why it is provided in section 305 of the Constitution that extraordinary situations might arise. This is one of such extraordinary situations. The second one is about, removing the governor, removing the deputy governor. You see, you decide each case on its own peculiar facts and circumstances. Who are the people involved? Who are the parties involved in this saga? They are the governor, members of the House of Assembly. So who else should have been affected? I've heard this funny argument. I'm sorry for saying it is funny because it doesn't make any sense to me. That the president should have just gone there to secure the pipelines and then come back. When some people are there encouraging vandals to come in. The action of the president is what happened is the effect of a fundamental cause, and you cannot be treating the cause, the effect, in order to cure the cause. What was the cause? The governor and members of the House of Assembly. So you don't try to, you have to behave responsibly, and you must have the guts. If it happens again, I will encourage Mr. President to do the same, maybe this time with even greater vigor and vitality. So the question of separating or treating or giving preferential treatment to anybody does not arise. You give preferential treatment to anybody, you are giving preferential treatment to hooliganism. Let's call a spade a spade. This is where I believe that we should put up our patriotism cap. It shouldn't be about individual. It should not be about anybody. It should be about the entity called Nigeria. But in this case, the Rivers State. So, it is Rivers State's turn today. It can be anybody's turn tomorrow. Let the signal be clearly signed for those who want to foment trouble, who want to make the practice of democracy and enjoyment of dividend of democracy a mirage, to think twice. So, I answer the question by saying I return the resounding no to the quest that the governor and deputy governor should have been spared, or the members of the House of Assembly. They were all in it. So, then the other one is about compromise and replacement. It appears so. Don't forget, I think yesterday there was a notice of impeachment from the House of Assembly. If that impeachment had been allowed to take its full course, then the governor would have lost entirely and completely. So in a way, if you say it's a compromise, I will agree that instead of allowing the impeachment process to continue, and which in the end would have seen both the governor and the deputy governor out of office, and mean out for the entirety of the 4-year term, with the remainder of what we have. We have 1 year, I think about 9 months now. That, yes. So leaving is it a balance or so of 2 years and 2 months? Thank you. 2 years, 2 months. So if normalcy returns, some other things may come in. But for now, well, maybe it's a compromise. I will agree. The next one is about the stake of the playbook of the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory. You see, there are occasions when, especially when it comes to national issues, we have to come out plainly and sincerely. Where do you put the Minister of FCT in this case? Was he the one who asked for the demolition of the House of Assembly? Was he the one who said the governor should not present his budget to the House of Assembly? Was he the one who advised the governor not to go through the House of Assembly for purposes of ratifying the commissioner nominees? I don't know, because if you want to look at a case, you look at the facts that have been presented. The Supreme Court made these critical findings. FCT minister did not feature. Whatever the situation, assuming he featured, he would have featured maybe on the side of the legislator. Yes, the legislators. But what we have here is let everybody go home for the first 6 months. So I don't see his hands here in what we have. That judgment of Supreme Court, I will encourage us to read that judgment. There were about 11 of 12 findings against the governor. What sentiment are we bringing to bear, on this matter? I don't think there is any sentiment. What remains is, if the National Assembly feels that the president has not done well, then you won't have the 2/3 majority required to validate his action. Certainly, it's like a situation in which the veto usually is on the side or with Mr. President when a bill is presented. But the converse is the same here, that it is the president who is initiating a move. I want to declare a state of emergency. He has to make that move, and he made that clear in his speech, in his broadcast yesterday, that I've taken this decision and I've referred the matter to the National Assembly. It is for the National Assembly to now say we veto. That is to say, we don't give you approval. And since the National Assembly is still in session, we expect that within 48 hours, something will come out of it. So if whoever has any misgiving, any concern, I would say should channel it to the National Assembly to say, don't give the required 2/3 approval that is they need. Otherwise, we should all, like I said, continue to put up our patriotism cap. Then the last in the series is about what happened during President Jonathan's period. Don't forget, like I said, every matter depends on the peculiar facts and circumstances of the case. You can declare emergency in a variety of ways. It is like a man who is suffering from a disease. They say, oh, it's cancerous. They say, oh, I hope it has not spread to so area. Then you now excise the portion affected. I think that was what happened during President Jonathan's period. If it is about I've forgotten what you call it. No, not only Boko Haram. The one that they say we should stay at home. COVID. It has its own. If it's a Boko Haram, it has its own. So it's if it is Boko Haram, they were located or confined to particular areas. And the governor then said, okay, please come to our aid. But the governor who is at the center of it here has not made any such request. And it would have been grossly irresponsible of Mr. President to fold his arms. So the situation in the era of former President Goodluck Jonathan is different from what we have here. What we have here is everybody is involved. You can exercise your rights, but don't forget there are always lines. You don't cross it. You don't cross them. If you cross them, then you also suffer the consequences. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, sirs. Amma. My name is Musbadan Wahab. I work with ACE for the initial period of 6 months, which means if the parties to these crises are not able to, they could not resolve. So where is the president hanging the reconciliation?
this current government. So my question is a follow-up on his too. Is the honorable
argued that the political crisis in Rivers State does not justify emergency rule? What's your reaction to that?
First question has to do with who is going to reconcile them. The people themselves, now that this situation has arisen, I believe will call themselves to order. The president has intervened 1, 2, 3 times without any result, and he alluded to this in his broadcast, that he had done his own. Well-meaning Nigerians have done their own, and that was why, and to no avail, and that was why he had to come out and take the decision that he took yesterday. So the people are left to allow good sense to prevail. So it is left to them to decide what they want, whether they want reconciliation or a continuation of the ugly situation. Then the other one has to do with will the FCT minister play a role in the reconciliation? That would be an affair of people of Rivers State. If they want, they can call him. If he likes, he can call them. But I assure you that with this situation, a platform has been created for them to come together in the interest of the good people of Rivers State, who have voted in order to have dividends of democracy. Then the third one is about the position of NBA. When you talk of state of emergency, it's an extraordinary situation demanding the suspension or putting in abeyance the normal situation that would have been. Normally, you allow the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary to continue to function. But like I said, Section 308 envisaged that there might be situations in which extraordinary matters or events will come up, which will require suspending the normal rights or privileges of those who are involved. And that is why the justification for suspension of the people involved come in. I don't see how you would have spared the governor and the legislature. They are both involved. Things are not working in Rivers. So the justification is those who brought this to be, who caused this, must be shown in clear terms that you don't do it and get away with it. There must be consequences for our action. Consequences for our action. If Section 308 were to be absent, then you can be talking of what justification do you have. But Section 308 clearly spells out conditions or situations in which the president will come out and say, I am suspending the normal operation of things. It's not in times of war between Nigeria and another country, God forbid, that can come in. In other situations, yes, and you expect the governor to make supplication to Mr. President to say, the situation I have in my state is such that we need you to come in. And that was why the president alluded to this in his broadcast. He said, the governor haven't failed to make the request. And I, as the president, haven't assessed the situation. I believe that a state of emergency should come in. When you say a state of emergency, it presupposes suspension of ordinary rights and obligations, rights and privileges that you will enjoy.
I don't know if the special advisor wants to say something.
Of Justice for coming to this press conference. We called him just a short while ago that he needed to come to clarify and amplify the president's broadcast. And he said he was very willing to do so, and that's why we are here today. Thank you very much for creating the time quickly. I also want to thank all my colleagues here for rushing to attend this press conference. We didn't plan before, everything just came as it came. We want to say special thanks to everyone. Thank you for attending. And I wish all of you a very nice day.